Humans must create to feel whole, to feel complete in their life. Otherwise, if we don't create on a regular basis, we tend to feel lost, we tend to get in depression, and we tend to feel fragmented. Now, a lot of people tend to have a very narrow view of what creative means, what being creative means, what to create means. And I want to broaden that a little bit more with the idea of designing, building, producing. And this idea that when we're in this flow of creativity, when we do allow ourselves to create, creating is actually a very spiritual activity. And it's a very spiritual activity because we're literally taking those inspired thoughts that come from another place and we're allowing that to activate us and to move us into this inspired life, into these inspired actions and to take something that was invisible to the outside world, this ethereal thought, this electricity in our mind, and turn it into form. It's in our human nature for us to have those intuitive sparks, and it is our job, it is our mission, it is our purpose in life to bring them into the world. Because we are in such a very logical, productive world, if it doesn't meet certain criteria, we squish down, we reduce down, we make it so that the creative ideas that we have feel silly and childish. And that's not at all how we should approach and move through life in our creative capacity. It's imperative that you create so that you understand who you are and the essence of your being. It's not what you bring into the world. It's more of the process of you going through bringing something in the world. And this allows you to understand who you are when you have a vision and an insight, and what happens when life starts to throw things at you, challenges, obstacles. Do you still hold the vision? Can you hold the vision? Can you keep focused attention on what it is that you want to do and move through those challenges that sharpens you, that strengthens you, that allows you to be a more evolved human and more emotionally, intuitively intellectual? And when we allow that spark to give us life, to give us momentum into being creative, that becomes this new idea of spirituality, right? You're engrossed in your own spirit. You're connecting with something higher because we don't really know where inspiration comes from. It's a mystery. Being creative is a mystery. That creative spark is a mystery. But it doesn't mean that it's not real, that it doesn't happen, or that we shouldn't do something with it. Life is mysterious. How things happen are mysterious. There's a lot of forces at play that are invisible to us, and being creative is no different. But this innateness in us has to be cultivated. So if you feel depressed, if you feel fragmented, if you feel lost, my guess is you probably aren't creating very much because there's a whole different set of things that will happen to you when you start creating. When you start getting into a project and a process and you meet challenges and you have this deep burning desire to finish, to accomplish. And that's ultimately the goal and the result that you want to have. You want to feel accomplished and satisfied because that's all that we ever really, really desire to have in life is that we feel satisfied. We feel that we have hit certain milestones and we can feel confident and accomplished in what we do. And again, it's never the task itself. Sometimes it is, but it's usually the completion of something, the idea brought down to life and the completion of that. And it's going to be unique for everyone, which is the beautiful part of all of us adopting that full creator role. Creativity is a spiritual activity because it is you in this moving meditation. You're so focused into what it is that you're doing. You have blinders on. The sense of your devotion to this idea that you have, to these passions that you have, is riveting. And it's what makes life more enjoyable. It gives us new things to rise up for, new purpose to rise up for and complete and do. And it allows us to really be in collaboration with nature itself. It allows us to go through our cycles. It allows us to process our emotions. It allows us to think through things or let the mind rest so that when we're looking to solve problems in other parts of our life, they just come to us because we've relaxed the logical mind because they might be, our hands might be busy doing something. So it kind of quiets that down. It allows us to face our inner critic. It allows us to take those old stories and those old beliefs and change them because we're actively doing new things. We're putting ourselves into fun challenges that we like, that we want to tackle and conquer. It pushes us out of our comfort zone and it allows us to see the world in new perspectives and new things. Because when you have that spark lit up inside of you, you can get really animated and illuminated. Life becomes illuminated. You can get inspiration from anything if you're just open to that. And we want to open up that channel of creativity within you because each one of us has it. I want you to start thinking about creating in a way that's much broader than paints or photography or writing, which is beautiful and wonderful. And please do all of those things, but it's anything that you have an idea about that you want to put forth, that you want to put forward and you want to put forth. The idea of building your own dream house is a very tactical process, but it's also a creative one. Building a business is a very strategic process, and it's also a creative one. And the more creative you are, the more money you make. So when we look at the benefits of how this creates benefit for us, we're literally moving our energy through us. There's no stuck energy because we're moving through it. We're moving with that divine essence of thought, divine essence of a spark, and we're letting it move us in ways that we would have never on our own probably done. And it allows us to be in this heightened state, this heightened engagement. If you've ever gotten really excited over an idea and inspiration, it literally enlightens you. It literally opens you up, keeps you in this euphoric state. And that doesn't always last, doesn't last forever, but we can always tap into that energy. It allows us, creating, allows us to align our heart and our mind. We're being driven by these desires to create something. And we have to use our intuition and we also have to use our logical mind because they're really practical laws that we have to abide by living in this world. Gravity, different ways in which we have to construct things and put things together. And with that act of alignment, we're very focused and we're very clear. When we start to do these little projects just for ourselves, then we can start to decide what becomes a priority in our life and what doesn't. How are we allowing ourselves time and space to do the things that we need? A great example of an artist that never quit, never stopped creating, and went into so many different areas of life is Leonardo da Vinci. World famous for not only his paintings, but his architecture, his engineering, his typography maps, and his mechanical and medical drawings that are still used today because they are so accurate. And he had this deep curiosity to not only perfect his art, but he wanted to benefit society. It wasn't just making pretty pictures that were commissioned. Imagine at that time in the 1600s, late 1500s, imagine at the time of Leonardo da Vinci and him being so curious to draw the human body that he went and asked for cadavers. He went and asked for the dead to open them up in his studio and to draw what he saw. Now, at the time, Leonardo had a very famous reputation, so they knew who he was, but even still, that's a pretty strange request to have. You have to be really dedicated and slightly obsessed with your word to go out on a limb and make that happen. And then get into so much of it where you have sketches upon sketches. We had drawings of pregnant women that were 8 months, that you could see the child inside the womb, that were just so, so detailed and accurate. They're still used today. We never know when these things are going to benefit the world. And I don't know if he knew firsthand that it was something that was going to benefit the world or benefit the society around him, or if it was just this deep desire, the curiosity that pushed him forward. Either way, it was a great benefit. And probably he would have no idea to what effect and what ripple effect that had just by following those curiosities over and over. So make sure that you're spending the time, allowing yourself the time, giving yourself permission, space and time to dream, to observe the outside natural world, and to explore and take action on those ideas. I would love to hear in the comments what it is you're creating, how you connect spiritually. Thank you for being here. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.